Nimmersatt is a virtual reality opera about eating and being eaten. We are showcasing it on the Alte Utting in the machine room to break the access barrier to theater and opera and take the audience to a new place. We started with the Biennale's motto and interpreted it as the food cycle. The project then evolved further and ultimately became about the capitalist cycle in the broadest sense.
So we decided on the engine room of the Alte Utting, because on the one hand we wanted to have a situation that is beyond the peat box stage, that you don't have this classic theatrical space with an orchestra pit in between. We wanted the audience to be very close to the singers and also to the musicians. At the same time, this ship is of course a ship that is no longer in operation, at least not in the original intention of a ship, an excursion steamer on one of our beautiful Bavarian lakes, but is actually literally lying on dry land. It is a ship that is being wonderfully repurposed as a cultural venue, as a party location. So I think that's why we hope to attract a different audience. And it's a ship that's lying on dry land, on disused tracks near the slaughterhouse. And for us, it is actually also a metaphorical place, so to speak, for the question of just how contemporary our kind of transportation is. The transportation of people, of animals, especially near the slaughterhouse, and of food. And that is precisely why we chose this specific location.
And then we added the virtual reality level, not merely as an alternative level, but as a way to enter other worlds. Additionally, we also take people back to the ship in the engine room, but in a different manner than how you entered the engine room before.
Fetter, toller, lecker, weiter, länger, geiler, rascher, dreister, höher, leckerer, besser, stärker, rascher, längerer, größer.
We have chosen flute, oats, percussion, and cello. At the beginning, it wasn't entirely clear. We had several crucial aspects to consider. For instance, we needed to pay close attention to the volume of the instruments, as this room has a strict level limit. Additionally, the size of the instruments was significant, given the height of the ceiling here.
In other words, the height.
We can't exceed the height, and yet in the end, we still have a harp, which is already very high.
But it fits in.
Exactly, it fits in. Perfectly even. As long as we don't play an alphorn vertically, I think is accurate.
At first, we didn't want a harp. We were thinking of an accordion. Our goal was to have a bit of everything. We wanted percussion and a polyphonic instrument, hence the harp, plus 2 contrasting melodic instruments. This way, we'd have a broad range of sound effects, because the project is the story of a bit of everything. That's why we needed this diversity.
Vielfältigkeit gebraucht.
Also wir sind totale Fans als Theaterschaffende, dass wir
As theater creators, we are always fans of finding forms that truly engage. We constantly seek something deeply sensual that engages other senses, not just rationally, because we are clever theater makers.
rational, weil wir die schlauen Theaterschaffende sind und deswegen versuchen wir eine Art der
That's why we try to create a narrative by starting in a real, analog space. Then when we put on the VR glasses, we continue to play and be present in this space.
in dem Moment, wo wir die VR-Brillen aufsetzen, auch in diesem Raum weiter spielen, weiter sind.
But then take the audience into other worlds that have to do precisely with this theme of eating and being eaten.
Werden zu tun haben.
And it was very important to us because we are simply all part of the food cycle, to bring people into this cycle as well. That's why we decided to use this immersive means of the virtual reality world, and are pleased that we can meet here in a theatrical space on the one hand, but also immerse ourselves individually in these worlds through technology.
Also uns war es ein großes Anliegen, die Ebene nicht zu doppeln.
We didn't want our composers to just add a film score, the digital space we create in virtual reality. That's why we spent a long time rearranging processes, reorganizing the level, and deciding what story each level told. And accordingly, we ended up creating a production that uses analog theater techniques, but also immerses the audience in virtual worlds.
Mitteln arbeitet, aber eben die ZuschauerInnen zusätzlich noch in virtuelle Welten entführt.